Aquarellina and we are doing an art supply haul today. So, in my recent trip to Germany, I visited 2 different art supply stores. One of them was Bosna. That one is bigger and spread all across the country. I've also been to one in Nürnberg, but the one I visited this time, which was near Düsseldorf, this one was a bit smaller and didn't have the same amount of products. And the other one that I visited was Art Service Tube, which is a smaller shop really close to the Düsseldorf Academy of the Fine Arts. So starting off with these masking fluids, I bought 4 of them and they're all from the same brand. Masking fluid is commonly used to mat the edges of your paper so that it doesn't bend when the paper is wet, and of course you can use it for more things than just watercolor. Next item is these ceramic dishes. I use only ceramic to mix my colors in as a palette, and watercolor doesn't stain ceramic dishes as it does with metal or plastic. So this way, when you wash the plates, you can always have a nice clean white surface to mix your color on. So when it comes to gold inks, I was originally looking for the Finetech palettes, but I haven't found it anywhere in Germany, so I'm still looking for it, but meanwhile I've got these to occupy myself. The first one is Winsor & Newton Silver. I already have one that is gold. I kind of wish that the finish was a bit more grainy like the gold, but nevertheless this one is really beautiful. It's also really shiny when it's dry and it doesn't leave those sparse spots when you apply it with a brush. The next one is this gold from Sennelier. This one has a warmer tone than the Winsor & Newton kind of orange, but not as yellow. I would say that the gold from Winsor & Newton is almost a little bit green. This one has to be built up quite a bit in order to achieve full opacity. This one is the silver from Rohr und Klingner, Leipzig Co. I hope I pronounced that right. For this one I would say it's more like a pearl color. It's more white, it's not as gray as this one, but I do think that this one will be interesting to paint some seashells. Next one up is Schminke Bronze Powder. It has beautiful coverage and color, it's really shiny, I love it. But one thing that I didn't notice is that, yeah, it is a powder. I didn't realize that in time, otherwise maybe I wouldn't have bought it. This one is also not very good for dip pens because it requires making a solution from it with water, and then I think you end up throwing a lot of it if you don't use it, so it seems a little bit more wasteful. But it is a really nice color and I know that I will be using it a lot. Next thing that I bought is this little easel. There's no excuse for it. I just thought it was really cute. I do a lot of miniature illustrations, so I think this one will be perfect. Paper cutting knife. It's really sharp, it's really precise, and it does everything that I want. And I used to cut my pop-up gardens with those small scissors that are usually used to clip your nails, but they weren't really sharp or precise, and they always somehow bent my paper the way I didn't want it to, but this will be really handy. Now, I didn't look at the prices as something that would make me not buy the product, because most of these products can't be bought in Bosnia, especially this one, which is a paper trimmer from the same brand, Fiskars. I already opened it and used it, as you can see, but I wanted to show you how it looks like in the box. It was around 35 euros, which is really, really expensive, especially for me, since I live in a really cheap country. I wanted to buy this one for so long because whenever I paint with watercolors and I need more smaller formats of paper, I don't have time to go and mark the paper with a ruler and cut it with the knife. This one can cut A4 format lengthwise and then A3 if you turn it sideways. It says it can cut a stack of up to 5 print papers at once. I've tried it on watercolor paper and it works wonderful. Next one is yarn. Just your regular yarn. There's nothing special about it. But this one I specifically bought because I wanted to make sketchbooks. They are just watercolor paper and I've made these with the knife I bought and the paper trimmer. And another thing that I will show you right now, which is the hole punch. And then I just pulled some yarn through because in my experience it was really hard to find a really nice watercolor sketchbook that was like small and you could use it if you're traveling or whatever, that it's also cute. If you want to see me make something like this or make a tutorial about it, please let me know. I will be really glad to do it. The last item related to paper crafts is the hole punch. This one was also really expensive, but I haven't found it anywhere else, so I just bought it. It was around 24 euros. I think it's something that you buy once in a lifetime and that's it. This tool allows you to punch multiple holes at the same time through the same piece of paper without punching them individually. The holes are really precise and clean looking. Now I'll go over the painting and drawing tools. I bought this water brush from Pozna and it's from their brand too. What can I say? I'm not a huge fan of water brushes and this one hasn't convinced me that I need to use a water brush any more than the Pentel one that I've had. They're really sloppy to work with. They give you almost no control. It really comes down to what your style of painting requires and I find it to be the easiest to paint with natural hairbrush. Then I bought this tool, which I think is used for painting. Something like this I like to use with the masking fluid because masking fluid it tends to ruin your brushes and using soap and brushes is just too complicated for me. I think this is really precise way to apply masking fluid and it can give you some really thin strokes as well. Now this brand is quite weird, Artisti. It's from Germany and I haven't managed to find their website anywhere. However, if you type Artisti Pinsel, which means paintbrush in German, then you will be able to find them. And I've had a bigger version of this one and I just felt the need for a smaller one as well and I bought 3 of them. I also need multiple of the same brush because sometimes I want to have different colors loaded on different brushes. What I love about this brush is that when you wet it, it comes down to a single hair at the end and it's really soft. It's not going to rub your paper, of course, don't abuse your paper. It's fine for medium amount of lifting, although I don't require that you do too much lifting anyway in watercolor. But one of these brushes wasn't as good as the other 2. There was just something wrong with the tip and it didn't allow me to paint with that one single hair, which is really important because that way you can get all of the corners in one wash and not have to use different kind of brushes. Then I bought these 3 brushes, which are from the brand Tupi. I've never heard of that brand either. I've tried these brushes and I'm not particularly excited about them. They don't give me anything that this brush alone gives me because these might be good for really thin lines so that you don't have to be super stiff when you're painting with this one because you have to have a lot of precision to paint with just one hair from this one. The smallest one is also damaged, so I don't know. It tends to happen if they're not glued properly by the end of it. From the paper I bought, I have first this little sketchbook, which I've already started using. This one is 90 grams, so I think it's a little bit thicker than your regular print paper. I had bought already one like this, but it had dots in it to practice calligraphy. However, I never got kind of into doing that, but I like the paper and I like the size and the look of it, so I bought this one without the dots. Then I had a chance to stock on some watercolor paper, which is probably the most important part of this whole haul. All of the watercolor papers that I bought are from Kanzen. And so far I really like that brand. I haven't tried like Arches, so I don't know, I can't say if it's the best watercolor paper, but I love it so much, and I'll tell you why. The Canson papers always make the colors look bright. They don't like eat the color up and make it all dull and lifeless. So that is the main reason why I love it. I bought 2 packs of these, and this one has 12 sheets. It's 30 by 40 centimeters. It's 300 gram watercolor cold pressed paper. And yeah, this one I like to cut it up in smaller pieces for my illustrations. So that is all for now, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you found any of this helpful, you can leave a like, and if you have any questions for me, definitely leave a comment. If you would like to stay tuned and up to date with me, you can follow me on my Instagram account, since I'm way more active there than here. There will be another video soon where I paint some fairy tale doors and windows, so I hope to see you guys there soon. Bye guys!